Good morning. Welcome to the 1995 Spring Commencement exercises of Milwaukee School of Engineering. Please remain standing for the invocation. The invocation will be delivered this morning by Rabbi Isaac Serrata of Congregation Shalom, Milwaukee.
Throughout human history, we have sought to understand God by use of metaphor. To the prophet Ezekiel, God was like a king sitting on a sapphire throne. For some, God is the ultimate bookkeeper, keeping careful accounts of our deeds and misdeeds. For others, God is like a puppet master, pulling the strings that make us act and react. Today, let us think of God as a cosmic engineer who designed and presided over the remarkable construction of all creation. Each of us is an individual part of the process with our own special addition to make to the peace and beauty of the world. Graduation is an ending, a summation of a course of work. But like every end, it also sows seeds for a new beginning. May those who gather here today find hope and inspiration from the heavenly engineer, and in turn bring that inspiration into a lifetime of creative and beneficent work for our community and for the world. Remembering each day the words of the psalm, "It is the Lord's doing, it is marvelous in our eyes. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Amen."
You may be seated. At this time, it's a pleasure and a privilege for me to present the president of Milwaukee School of Engineering, Dr. Herman Vietz.
Good morning. I guess you can't start off in any better fashion than to talk about cosmic engineering, and I like that. I think we'll use it again. Thank you, Rabbi. Later on in today's ceremony, you'll be introduced to Dr. Howard Fuller, so our superintendent of schools here in Milwaukee. I won't say much about Dr. Fuller at this time, but I would like to introduce one other visitor that we have with us today, and that is Dr. Ramdas Pai, who is the president of the Manipal Institute of Technology, an institution with whom we have an exchange program. It's the largest private institution in India, and our first graduates of that program are going to be honored today. It's Dr. Pai. Now to the graduates. This is no surprise to you, but today is your day, not ours. Today is the day that we honor you. To you, I say enjoy it, because you don't have too many days like this, but it is really yours, and make sure you do enjoy it. To the spouses, parents, children, friends, faculty, and staff, it's our opportunity to really marvel and applaud at what's happened over a relatively short period of time. An amazing transformation from high school students, in most cases, to professionals. So we look forward to lots of good news about you in the future. We think it's a short time, but I'm not so sure that the graduates themselves think it's such a short time. It'll be a lot shorter when you look back at it some years from now. Your transition from MSOE to your future will be assisted by the reputation of our current alumni out in the field. People will expect a great deal from you, and you're ready to do exactly that. As an example, earlier this spring, Design News magazine sponsored a dinner to recognize several outstanding people. In that group was a gentleman named Lester Davis. Now, Mr. Davis is the retired Chief Operating Officer of Cray Research, a company which is world famous for making the best supercomputers. Mr. Davis designed in his lifetime several generations of the fastest computers in the world. For this award, he was also entitled to designate an institution to receive $21,000 in contributions, and he chose MSOE. Now, that happens not rarely. It happens on a regular basis that we receive contributions and major contributions. But there are two things that are relatively unusual. One, not so much, and that is that Mr. Davis is not an alumnus. But that's not all that unusual because we have a lot of non-alumni who support this institution. Something that's more amazing is that Mr. Davis chose MSOE without ever having set foot on our campus. So I asked him at the dinner, how is it that you chose MSOE? And his response was really interesting, and it's a challenge to you as well. He said that within his career at Cray Research, that he knew between 20 and 30 of our alumni, and that they were the best. And he chose us simply based on the fact that we produced outstanding graduates. He didn't judge us on the basis of our physical plant, or our research dollars, or even, forgive me, the quality of our faculty. He judged us on the quality of our product, and our product is you. So you have a reputation to live up to. I'm sure you'll continue this recognition. You don't have to take a back seat to anyone. You have the intelligence, the education, and very, very importantly, the drive to be very successful at whatever you want to do. So do the things that will allow you to grow even more. Volunteer for the difficult assignment. Join the service club. Take the graduate course. Take the foreign assignment. Consider starting your own company. These are just a smattering of the things that you could attempt. But beyond any last-minute advice, which you'll hear a good deal more of today, when you're wrestling with your career, keep us in mind. That is, keep MSOE in mind. Let us know how you're doing. Join us for homecoming, even this October. There's no reason to wait 25 years and come back then and say, gee whiz, the place has changed. Come see us next October. Don't wait. We're very proud of you, and you'll continue the tradition, and congratulations on your big day. Thank you.
Vice President Palmer, it is my privilege to summon the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Technical Communication from the General Studies Department. It is a pleasure to present them to you.
Good morning. Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree in Business and Computer Systems please stand? And for the Bachelor of Science in Management Systems, please stand. Vice President Palmer, it's my privilege to present to you the candidates for the degree programs from the Center for Business Management.
Vice President Palmer, it's my privilege to present to you the Bachelor of Science candidates from Architectural Engineering and Building Construction. Please stand up.
Vice President Palmer, it is my privilege to present those candidates for degrees in Industrial Engineering, Manufacturing Engineering Technology, Mechanical Engineering Technology, and Mechanical Engineering. Will those candidates please rise? Thank you.
Vice President Palmer, it is my honor and privilege to summon the candidates for degrees from the Department of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science.
Would the Master of Science degree candidates please stand? Vice President Palmer, I'm pleased to present to you the candidates for the Master of Science degree in Engineering and the Master of Science degree in Engineering Management.
President Viets, the academic records of these candidates have been reviewed by the faculty and the Executive Educational Council. On recommendation of their department chairpersons and furthermore is certified by the registrar and the Academic Records Office, it is my pleasure to present these individuals to you as candidates for associate, bachelor, and master's degrees in their respective fields of study.
Candidates, by reason of satisfactory completion of your educational program as prescribed by the faculties of the college, with the authority invested in the office of the President by the Board of Regents, under charter granted to the Milwaukee School of Engineering by the State of Wisconsin, I hereby confer on you, respectively, as presented by your department chairpersons, the following degrees: Associate in Applied Science and Engineering Technology, Bachelor of Arts in Technical Communication, Bachelor of Science in Business and Computer Systems, Bachelor of Science in Management Systems, Bachelor of Science in Engineering Technology and Engineering, Master of Science in Engineering Management and Engineering, together with all their rights, honors, and privileges, as well as their duties and responsibilities. Congratulations on this auspicious occasion, and please present yourselves for your degree. Congratulations, and wow, what a class.
Would the candidates in the rows other than the row that is moving out kindly be seated so the audience behind you can observe the proceedings here? Now, I need to make a little request here. I know that you all have come from everywhere, from Thief River Falls to Thunder Bay, from Wrightstown to Reedsville, and that I know that you are literally bursting your buttons with pride for your precious offspring, right? However, it is our sincere hope that we can conclude this ceremony before Tuesday. And therefore, we ask your cooperation in somehow restraining yourself and containing your applause until all the candidates have gone across the stage, and then we'll bring down the roof. Is that a deal? Well, you got to try, you know. Our first candidate is receiving the Associate in Applied Science degree in Mechanical Engineering Technology, David Arthur Steele, Slinger, Wisconsin. Receiving the Bachelor of Arts degree in Technical Communication, Amy Catherine Corda, Greendale, Wisconsin. Amy Joy Suito, Highbridge, Wisconsin. Receiving the Bachelor of Science degree in Business and Computer Systems, Christopher John Gallion, Bartlett, Illinois. Graduating with honors, Jason Paul Jock, Cedar Grove, Wisconsin. Daniel Richard Klug, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Jennifer Lee Laporte, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Tamara Lynn Mertinke, Wausau, Wisconsin. Diem Keen Nguyen, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Angelina Marie Rizzano, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Mary Frances Schmerler, Brown Deer, Wisconsin. Mark Robert Simons, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Gregory James Sroda, West Allis, Wisconsin. Robert Carl Tyriver, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Denise Marie Wack, Reedsville, Wisconsin. Receiving the Bachelor of Science degree in Management Systems, Stephen Martin Abrahamson, Edmond, Oklahoma. Graduating with honors, Philip Edward Blakeman, Kansasville, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Kevin James Christensen, Kenosha, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Julie K. Fry, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Gustavo Adolfo Guevara, Heartland, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Michael Andrew Hall, Seymour, Wisconsin. Patrick James Jacobs, Delavan, Wisconsin. Scott Francis Janishek, Port Washington, Wisconsin. Fred Alvin Kozlowski, Germantown, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Diane Merritt, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Greg Kreitzer McElwain, Germantown, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Scott K. Myers, Greenfield, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Robert A. Schuler, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Michael James Shedevy, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Kurt Jerome Stacey, Greenfield, Wisconsin. Denise Michelle Stanford, Dousman, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Gregory Allen Trico, Greenleaf, Wisconsin. Our next group of candidates are receiving the Bachelor of Science degree in Architectural Engineering. William E. Arts, Kaukauna, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Gregory Lee Bockham, Janesville, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Philip Edward Blakeman, Kansasville, Wisconsin. Give him a candy bar or something. Graduating with honors, Jennifer Annette Block, Ellsworth, Wisconsin. Douglas Dumont Brown, Aurora, Illinois. Robert Allen Bukta, Heartland, Wisconsin. Philip Bruce Klassen, Belvedere, Illinois. Jared Michael D'Amico, Palos Park, Illinois. Christopher Ray Davenport, Pittsfield, Illinois. Graduating with honors, Jeffrey Thomas Dietz, Appleton, Wisconsin. Julie Rose Dobbins, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Brenda Mae Franzel, Mason, Wisconsin. Timothy Allen Gert, Cudahy, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Eric James Hansen, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Clifton James Hartford, Caledonia, New York. Graduating with high honors, Michael Andrew Hall, Seymour, Wisconsin. Kevin Arthur Jankowski, South Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Christopher Eric Johnson, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Kirtland J. Johnson, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Carrie Ann Kapke, Clinton, Wisconsin. Brett Edward Loris, North Barrington, Illinois. Graduating with honors, Christina L. LeGrand, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. John Hyatt Lund, Jr., New Berlin, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Susan K. Mediak, Hallman, Wisconsin. Conrad Joseph Mauser, Barrington, Illinois. Graduating with high honors, Daniel Joseph Mischison, Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. Kimberly Ann Myers, Thief River Falls, Minnesota. Graduating with honors, Hans Michael Nelson, Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Michael Sean O'Byrne, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Christopher Edward Odness, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Stacy Ray Olson, Fall Creek, Wisconsin. Douglas Dean Reed, Council Bluffs, Iowa. Brian Jerome Rinke, West Dallas, Wisconsin. David G. Ritzinger, Athens, Wisconsin. Nathan Curtis Scheineman, West Bend, Wisconsin. Eric Francis Schmitz, Marion, Virginia. John H. Schatz, Wilson, New York. Travis Marlowe Smith, Marathon, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Kirk Jerome Stuckey, Greenfield, Wisconsin. Denise Michelle Stanford, Dousman, Wisconsin. Rochelle Ann Steffes, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Thomas John Thurkelson, Franksville, Wisconsin. Donna Marie Torrey, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Mark Allen Tredo, Waukesha, Wisconsin. Andrew Philip Vitale, Villa Park, Illinois. Stacy Elliott Wyatt, Fenton, Missouri. Ishmael M. Zuniga, La Paz, Bolivia. Our next candidates are receiving the Bachelor of Science degree in Manufacturing Engineering Technology. Graduating with honors, Douglas Bennett Cross, Kenosha, Wisconsin. Gregory Charles Dahlstrom, Barrington, Illinois. Thomas Lowell Canasso, Springfield, Ohio. Janice Ellen Rivest, Racine, Wisconsin. John Patrick Scanlon, Delafield, Wisconsin. Receiving the Bachelor of Science degree in Mechanical Engineering Technology. Stephen Eric Carlson, Burt, Iowa. Scott Allen Carpenter, Waukesha, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Gregory John Chesick, Kenosha, Wisconsin. John Robert Dwyer III, Racine, Wisconsin. Chad Leland Gadberry, New Berlin, Wisconsin. Kevin Lewis Hammond, Waukesha, Wisconsin. Michael Lawrence Johnson, Ellison Bay, Wisconsin. Stephen Allen Kerseder, Rock Island, Illinois. Michael Allen Kranz, Gillett, Wisconsin. Richard Otto Lang, Chicago, Illinois. Gregory Lance Perkalip, Geneva, Illinois. Patrick Lynn Peters, Freeport, Ohio. Jared Jeffrey Schultz, Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Richard Allen Sievert, Bonduel, Wisconsin. David Thomas Tomczyk, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Daniel Carl Zilmer, Franklin, Wisconsin. Our next candidates are receiving the Bachelor of Science degree in Industrial Engineering. Eric Aloysius Barzak, Taylor, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Jeremy Dallas Buck, Bay City, Wisconsin. Chadwick Justin Campbell, Seymour, Wisconsin. Jeffrey Allen Davids, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Kim Marie Eichert, Brillion, Wisconsin. Ahmad Ali Galoom, Kuwait City, Kuwait. Edward W.E. Nieper, Waukegan, Illinois. Rudy Saljana, Jakarta, Indonesia. Stacy Ann Semero, Marathon, Wisconsin. Kevin Gerard Smith, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, J. Robert Williams, West Allis, Wisconsin. Our next candidates are receiving the Bachelor of Science degree in Mechanical Engineering. Graduating with honors, David Michael Berg, Terre Haute, Indiana. Graduating with high honors, Craig Daniel Block, Wausau, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Sean Michael Carlini, Rockford, Illinois. Graduating with high honors, Mark John Cherney, New London, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Timothy Scott Dawson, Burnsville, Minnesota. Brian William Day, Joliet, Illinois. Matthew Richard Deppes, Chilton, Wisconsin. David William Drawer, Schaumburg, Illinois. Graduating with honors, Thomas Michael Eggert, Adams, Wisconsin. Trista Jean Fowles, McHenry, Illinois. Thomas E. Gaffney, Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Michael Matthew Garrity, Sullivan, Wisconsin. Donovan Mark Gearing, Rubicon, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Christopher Ronald Gerke, Berlin, Wisconsin. John Michael Going, Wautoma, Wisconsin. Jason Allen Hillman, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Tammy M. Hoff, Wausau, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Matthew Mark Heibrecht, Green Bay, Wisconsin. James Peter Kreuzer, Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. Mark Ethan Krewald, West Bend, Wisconsin. Adam Paul Kester, Elgin, Illinois. Graduating with high honors, Brian Dean Kuras, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. David Michael Lockich, Germantown, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Joseph Law, Hong Kong. Gregory David Latola, Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. Benjamin Scott Mayer, Hubertus, Wisconsin. Scott J. Nicholson, River Falls, Wisconsin. Craig Lewis Peterson, Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Matthew Stephen Phillips, Peoria, Illinois. Brian Joseph Petrosinski, Hartford, Wisconsin. Richard F. Plahuta, West Allis, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Michael John Pluchinski, Crown Point, Indiana. Graduating with honors, David Rudolph Powlett, Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Kasu Abhiram Reddy, Pradesh, India. Charles Joseph Schachner, Deer Park, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Michael James Thornton, Stanley, Wisconsin. Catherine Irene Vanderbunt, West Bend, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Brian Allen Vogt, Heartland, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Timothy Joseph Weichman, New Berlin, Wisconsin. Andrew John Wood, Glencoe, Illinois. Graduating with honors, Trevor J. Wood, Brainerd, Minnesota. Graduating with honors, Jeremy Paul Yako, Racine, Wisconsin. Our next candidates are receiving the Bachelor of Science degree in Electrical Engineering Technology. Mark Andrew Anderson, Detroit, Michigan. Graduating with honors, James Donald Anderson, Grafton, Wisconsin. Joseph A. Balistreri, Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Gerald F. Bomsky, Jr., Green Bay, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Craig Wallace Brandt, Shiocton, Wisconsin. J. Carol Belanek, Cudahy, Wisconsin. Bruce Donaldson Butler, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. James Carey III, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, John Michael Deerdorf, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Jeffrey Joel Freiberg, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Stephen H. Gorski, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Carl David Hartman, Greendale, Wisconsin. Greg J. Henderson, Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Daniel Stephen Hubert, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Corey John Lardenoy, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Edward Allen Miller, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Peter James Miller, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. James Joseph Ortiz, Twin Lakes, Wisconsin. Robert M. Pingle, Mukwonago, Wisconsin. John Michael Pokrant, Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. John Charles Powers, Brookfield, Wisconsin. L.B.H. Rivas, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Lawrence Dennis Rowe, South Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Brian Ray Schneider, Greenfield, Wisconsin. Greg David Schwark, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Kamlesh Sethi, Nagaland, India. Graduating with honors, Viral H. Shah, Madras, India. Graduating with honors, John Allen Stewart, Germantown, Wisconsin. Jonathan Robert Walters, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Our next candidates are receiving the Bachelor of Science degree in Biomedical Engineering. Aaron Wayne Brown, Rochelle, Illinois. Rusty Lynn Conley, Portage, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Adrienne Renee Cook, Warren, Michigan. Gary Joseph Counter, Milton, Wisconsin. Daniel Robert Englert, Sparta, Wisconsin. Russell James Kuzelka, Bartlett, Illinois. Graduating with high honors, Brian Michael Lenz, Stewartville, Minnesota. Donald John Marcelonis, Goodman, Wisconsin. David Allen Slavensky, Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. Timothy Allen Schmidt, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Paul Michael Smith, Horicon, Wisconsin. Lisa Marie Thompson, Lincoln, Illinois. John Henry Tisdale, Prior Lake, Minnesota. Graduating with honors, Brett James Todd, Plainview, Minnesota. Receiving the Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Engineering, Kevin David Brandt, Port Edwards, Wisconsin. Terrence Earl Coleman, Jr., Gurnee, Illinois. Graduating with honors, Scott Roger Corbin, Spooner, Wisconsin. Brandon Michael Dockel, Oak Creek, Wisconsin. Glenn Roman Dorner, Luxembourg, Wisconsin. Bradley John Enneking, Amory, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Derek Matthew Fries, Oconto, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, James William Garachi, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Gregory Allen Hanstedt, Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Gabrielle Kutz, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Brian Richard Marin, Silver Lake, Wisconsin. Craig Javier Odegaard, Lockport, Illinois. Graduating with honors, Chad Allen Plotz, Merrill, Wisconsin. Kevin Michael Sadowski, Muskego, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Brian W. Schmidt, Friendship, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Chad Thomas Schneider, Oak Creek, Wisconsin. Peter Philip Schatz, Merrill, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Neil J. Seidel, Appleton, Wisconsin. Samuel Henry Smith, Shell Lake, Wisconsin. Linda Marie Weber, Seneca, Illinois. Graduating with honors, Krista Catherine West, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Terry A. Wilkinson, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Randy Wayne Wolfmeyer, Mayville, Wisconsin. Shu Shong, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Our next candidates are receiving the Bachelor of Science degree in Electrical Engineering. David Michael Adkins, Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Brad William Joseph Bourgeois, Casco, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Travis Owen Breikreutz, Neosho, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Tai Hu Bui, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Michael Thomas Cranston, Orland Park, Illinois. Eric Minya de la Peña, Willowbrook, Illinois. Kevin Kyle Denton, Bellevue, Washington. Santok Dillon, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Rodney Dwayne Hankins, Gurney, Illinois. Jeffrey Scott Hansen, Owen, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Kirsten Marie Hansen, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Frances Antoinette Hardrick, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Eric Douglas Hill, Lewiston, Minnesota. Richard Charles Johnson, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Thomas A. Cato, New Berlin, Wisconsin. Christopher John Colby, Chilton, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Robert William Cresson, East Troy, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Brian Dean Kuras, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Corey James Lemerand, Leona, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Joseph Patrick Lynch, Rolling Meadows, Illinois. Daniel William McLaughlin, Black River Falls, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Brian John Miluski, Schaumburg, Illinois. Graduating with honors, Paul Henry Mizwicki, Quincy, Illinois. Graduating with honors, David B. Moore, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Todd Michael Eistrike, Jackson, Wisconsin. Pablo Padilla, San Antonio, Texas. Graduating with high honors, Mark Andrew Peterson, Burlington, Wisconsin. Gregory John Raschke, Rockford, Illinois. Graduating with honors, Eric Lloyd Slavensky, Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. Eldon Jason Schwartz, Freeport, Illinois. Graduating with honors, Michael Donald Shipshock, Sussex, Wisconsin. Graduating with high honors, Yuri G. Sizov, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Edward Joseph Selesky, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Timothy John Spilde, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Joseph Leonard Stauber, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Aaron L. Stoddard, Brookfield, Wisconsin. J. Hamilton Vickery, Aurora, Illinois. Graduating with high honors, Scott Jonathan Walzak, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Shane Wendt, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Mary Ellen Winkle, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Kenneth Allen Wokach, Marathon, Wisconsin. Graduating with honors, Patrick Emil Zidun, Pittsville, Wisconsin. Our next candidates are receiving the Master of Science degree in Engineering Management. Peter Robert Hoffman, Manitowoc, Wisconsin. Kira Medlin Henshaw, Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin. Timothy K. Stutt, Rice Lake, Wisconsin. Andy Wijaja, Surabaya, Indonesia. There's an art to this. Our next candidates are receiving the Master of Science degree in Engineering. Raziuddin Ahmed, Hyderabad, India. Todd Gerald Batzler, Hortonville, Wisconsin. Thomas J. Klesper, Two Rivers, Wisconsin. Samir Mekki, Bangalore, India. Dale Joseph Reinable, Little Chute, Wisconsin. Stephen Walter Seidlitz, Greenfield, Wisconsin. Bonnie L. Trumbull, Luxembourg, Wisconsin. Well, audience, you didn't get an A, but it's real hard, as we know, to flunk seniors. So you got to pass, okay? Now is the hour. Let's hear it. To introduce our class respondent for the 1995 spring classes, I would present to you Mr. Richard Furlick, lecturer of the General Studies Department. Professor Furlick.
Thank you. It is my privilege to commend to you today a young scholar whose academic achievements are certainly non-parallel and whose rich personal achievements have been greatly admired by several of your favorite scholars, the redoubtable Doctors Jake and Elwood. It has become axiomatic in science and therefore technology that the true scientific frontiers we face are worlds characterized by apparent confusion, chance, and indeed seeming chaos. Perhaps that is why the eminent British thinker Bertrand Russell once stated, "In science, the man of real genius is the man who invents a new method. He might as well have said one who offers a new way of seeing. In fact, both scientific and technological advances ride in most wholly formed on the shoulders of those we most aptly term visionaries, men and women who see beyond the phenomenon we all battle daily and bring to bear out on their introspections a special ability to perceive the inherent symmetries appearing before us as puzzles in both life and nature. They bring, in fact, what I would call a dimension of the soul to their work. The famous Japanese physicist Yoichiro Nambu, a man to whom the strings of particles holding nature together seem virtually to disclose themselves, once proposed to a congress of physicists a new particle, and he was scoffed at by the renowned physicist Feynman, who said, "In a pig's eye." A year later, the omega was discovered not in a pig's eye, but in an accelerator. Nambu had clearly seen what his peers had been blind to. Several years ago, a young man, Scott Walzak, graced my classroom for the first time. Unlike many other students looking for a formula to, in a sense, guide their obedient thinking through a problem, Scott really devised his own formulae, sensing that there were greater dimensions in the tasks that had been set out before him. He consistently provided deep and penetrating insights into the problems that he attacked, and it became eminently clear that he was a young man seeking out knowledge and gathering it with an exciting ability to envision what his peers often struggled with. Like Nambu, like those other visionaries, he saw symmetries where others sensed nothing really existed. I think it is not altogether inappropriate to say that Scott Walzak uniquely and singularly brought to his labors and achievements that same rare and elegant quality of thought that characterizes those visionaries who open up the world such that we can all experience its wonders. And it is in such endeavors that the soul truly speaks. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the 1995 class respondent, Scott Walzak.
Good morning to you all, and thanks, Professor Furlick, for that kind and eloquent introduction. Wow, that really made me sound good. Today is a good day, not just because we are graduating, but because this is the first speech I've given in 4 years that I'm not receiving a grade on. I don't have to worry about making proper eye contact or focusing on my effective use of gestures, and that's a good feeling. In the past few weeks, I have surmised that a valedictorian ought to say something of significance. So this morning, as I sat down to write this speech, I thought of writing some deeply philosophical chunk of fuel for future contemplation, laced with quotes from brilliant men long since dead, showing that I am both well-versed and well-read. Or perhaps a speech in the form of a purely jovial downpour of congratulations and thanks. But neither of these would leave us better off, I think. For the graduates present, this is a transitional day, a pivot point in our realities. In its most primitive form, a rite of passage, but each perceives this event with different implications. For some, the past 4 years are a blur of meeting deadlines and handing in assignments. Still others can remember the gory details of every academic trial and tribulation. In any case, each graduate is left to reflect upon the past years and to derive personal meaning from the difficult academic challenges that we've faced and overcome. This is a time to take a giant step back and look objectively at our lives, to know where we've been and to see how it has affected who we are. This is a time to ask ourselves some really important questions. Things like, what am I going to do with what I've learned? What am I going to do with the rest of my life? What are my goals for the future? And most importantly, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? But really, graduation has been the primary goal for a while. And now that we've walked across this stage, we're ready for something new. This day opens up a world of opportunities for us all. If there's one thing I've learned to appreciate, it is the infinite possibilities of this reality. There are so many wonderfully interesting things going on, not just in science and engineering, but in every discipline or art. There is so much to learn and see. Every day is an opportunity for growth, not just intellectually, but spiritually, socially, and artistically. And if there is a theme buried somewhere in this speech, this is it. Seize the day. To all of you joining us today, not just the graduates, I would like to offer words of encouragement that whatever you do in life, to always do the best that you can do. That sounds very cliche and oversimplified, but it's got merit, because in the big picture, we really do grace this earth for a relatively short period of time. But on a lighter note, today is a day of celebration, and I feel I'd be doing a disservice to the graduates if I didn't commend us on the amount of work we've done, or mention the sheer volume of knowledge we've tackled in these few short years. All the academic ups and downs, successes, failures, pains, and rewards, all the lab reports and all-nighters. I didn't even drink coffee before I came to MSOE, and now I think I'm going to have to join a support group just to quit. There were times when I would equate the MSOE experience to an academic root canal, and an expensive one at that. But anyway, to all of the graduates out there now, you're sitting out there because you have what it took to get through MSOE alive and earn your respective degrees. And I think we all should be proud, because this is obviously no small achievement. But this is also a time to reflect on all the people who have supported us throughout our academic careers, our parents, friends, and family, the people we love who bring meaning into our lives. And finally, on behalf of all the graduates, I would like to thank the professors and faculty at MSOE for their contribution to our education. And personally, from my perspective of venturing through the electrical engineering program here, I want to express my gratitude to all the professors for their time, effort, and dedication to a great education. This dedication is something that I think sets MSOE apart from other schools and makes me glad I chose to study here. So to the graduates, best of luck to you all. And to everyone out there, thank you for being here to share in this joyous occasion. Thanks, and God bless you all.
At this point in the commencement program, the Milwaukee School of Engineering has the great pleasure and privilege of conferring its highest testimonial upon an individual whose career has been distinguished by outstanding commitment to the youth of our community and extraordinary leadership on behalf of Milwaukee's public schools. Page 22 of your program contains information on the career and accomplishments of this candidate. Dr. Richard Greengard and Regent Chairman Emeritus Carl Weigel, please escort to the podium Howard L. Fuller. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the onstage screen for a brief video presentation.
Too many of our children today do not dream, do not see themselves in a future role as active participants in the world of tomorrow. And so we, as a community, must recreate an atmosphere that encourages and nurtures all of our children's capacity to dream. And a critical element in making this happen is education. If our kids are going to survive in this world that we have given to them, it's going to have to be transformed. And education is one of those elements that's critical to the transformation. We must find ways to work together as educators and parents and government and community and business leaders to provide the best education possible for all of our children. Not the best in Milwaukee, not the best in Wisconsin, but the best in the world. the best in the world for our children. I beg you to give up the old if it ain't broke, don't fix it way of thinking and replace that idea with a cutting edge notion which supports improving things before they get broken. I also beg you to recognize that there's some policies and practices that are broken and need to become extinct. They don't need to be reformed, they need to die so that new schools of the future can emerge. Continuous improvement. It means beat your last best record. Every school, every department should constantly strive to do it better. Because when you cease trying to get better, you stop being good. I believe in all of my heart and my soul that you cannot educate our children if you don't believe in them and you don't love them and you don't respect them and the communities that they represent. Until you love people, you can't understand them. And if you don't understand them, you can't teach them. We must love our children's hopes and their dreams and their prayers more than we love the institutional heritage of the school system.
Regent Chairman Richard Jacobus, ladies and gentlemen, on the recommendation of the Committee on Honorary Degrees, Howard L. Fuller is presented to you as a candidate for the honorary degree of Doctor of Business and Economics.
President Vietz, in testimony to his resolute and unflinching vision for the advancement of our city schools and the growth and development of our school children, in grateful appreciation for his remarkable leadership and tireless energy and efforts toward innovation and renovation in Milwaukee Public Schools, in recognition of his commitment to individual enterprise, both in the classroom and in the workplace, and in further recognition of his support and advocacy on behalf of active collaboration and partnerships between education and the business community. It is my pleasure to present Howard L. Fuller to you as a candidate for the degree Doctor of Business Economics. Honarsis Casa.
By reason of the testimony contained in the citations and recommendations which we have just heard, and with the authority invested in my office by the Board of Regents under the charter granted to the Milwaukee School of Engineering by the state of Wisconsin, I hereby confer on you, Howard L. Fuller, as presented by Vice President Palmer and by Regent Chairman Jacobus, the degree Doctor of Business and Economics, honoris causa, together with all its honors, rights, and privileges. Personal congratulations are in order because this is a real personal pleasure for me. I hope after that video we haven't stolen all of his thunder because he's a real outspoken supporter of the schools, and that's very, very important to MSOE and to all of us.
First of all, I want to say thanks to my good friend, Dr. Viets, and thank you to all of the officials here at MSOE who saw fit to give me this great honor. And I want to say thanks to all the graduates for allowing me to share this important day with you. This will probably be the first time that people have heard two graduation speeches from the same person on the same day, but I didn't know they were going to do the videos, so, but I'll try to keep it short. I know that graduation is a very interesting time. In fact, graduation is kind of an oxymoron in itself. That is, it signifies both the end and the beginning. You're ending one experience, but you're now about to embark on another. Your degree will close this particular door in your life, while at the same time, it will be a catalyst for opening others. It is my hope that the knowledge and skills that you have gained at MSOE will open up many doors of opportunity for you. For some of you, it will help advance careers in which you're already engaged. At the same time, I hope that your education here has closed forever the doors of apathy and complacence and a lack of sensitivity to the pain and suffering that exist in our society, indeed in our world. I know that a degree can send you down the path of meism and send you on a quest for individual success that is consciously disconnected from the plight of other people in this world. But again, there is another possibility. You might have developed a greater sense of the value of justice in our society. Aristotle defined justice as rendering unto others their minimal due. Justice is the minimal response that we can make in a society to recognize the value of personhood. Within the context of a sense of community, I'm trying to make a case for at least some of you in this class to become standard bearers for social justice. Social justice defines the relationship between the individual and the society. We must expect the society to render to the individual her or his minimal due. This minimal due is a right that is associated with the fact that the individual is a human being. Social justice, then, is rooted in the notion that there is indeed a dialectical relationship between the individual and the society. The individual must contribute to the common good to the extent that she and he can. And in turn, the common good must render the individual her or his minimal due. Please be clear that I do not believe that social justice is a one-way street. The individual must assume responsibility for his or her actions. There can be no justice if individuals only blame the society or only look to the society for the satisfaction of individual needs. So the individual must, in fact, act in a way that adds value to the society. And at the same time, social justice demands that the society carry out its responsibility to the individual. It is social justice that gives rise to the concepts of fairness and merit and non-discrimination. The world in which many of you, hopefully all of you, will participate in changing is not a pretty place for those people who lack the material and spiritual resources to enhance the quality of their life. This is so in inner cities of urban areas. It is so in the Appalachian Mountains. It is so in Haiti. It is so in Rwanda. It is so wherever there are people who are poor and powerless. Their lives are a distorted measure of what ought to be their minimal due. I challenge each of you to look deeply within yourself and make a decision to become a person who is committed to valuing the dignity and worth of every individual. I want you to become a person who is committed to facing up the problems that some say have turned America into at least three societies: the mainstream, the assimilated minorities, and the excluded. And these three societies are separate and unequal, and disparities amongst them threatens to destroy our national fabric. I stand before you today extremely worried, actually frightened, by the difference between the picture of optimism that is infused in certain sectors of this country's population and the pale of hopelessness that characterizes other sectors. The fact is, as we sit here today in these beautiful surroundings, we must grasp the fact that millions of United States citizens are living below the poverty line, that millions are underemployed and unemployed, and thousands have even given up looking for work. We cannot, as a society, become so accustomed to these figures that they have no effect on us at all. We cannot forget that behind these figures are real people, millions of people without hope, people suffering from hunger and malnutrition, increased incidents of family tension, domestic violence, alcoholism, child abuse, crime, mental disease. We must not let America rest on the premise that happy days are here again because today rich people are getting richer with the promise that someday it will trickle down to the rest of the people. Nor can we allow our young people who are growing up in the streets of our urban areas to believe that they have no responsibility for decisions that they make, decisions that get them involved in drugs and gangs and other antisocial behavior. If you're not frightened by a headline that says that all of a sudden we have four young people in the beginning of their lives found dead, and we have some other young people now who say that they did it, if that doesn't wake you up, if that doesn't grab you, if that doesn't tell you something about America, then we're in a deeper trouble than I would imagine. And so we must not turn our backs. We must tell our youth that in no uncertain terms, there are things that are right and there are things that are wrong. There are values that are important if we are to survive as a society. We must tell them that babies having babies is not the right way. We must argue that an education is the way to better oneself in America, although even with an education, there are no guarantees. This is not an easy point in our history. There are tremendous economic and political changes occurring in this country. And for some of us, these changes have brought great uncertainty to our lives. Whether you call it downsizing or right-sizing or whatever you call it, when thousands of people lose their jobs because of it, that represents a problem in American society. You all are involved at a level of technology. Many of you are going into engineering and other phases of the advancing world of the 21st century. But while you're doing that, remember that some of the technology has made people who formerly had skills no longer useful because those skills are no longer valuable in American society. It is important that you realize that as you move forward, that the issues and concerns that you have talked about intellectually here in school now have a real bearing on people's lives. The political debates that are currently going on about welfare and Medicaid and Medicare are causing concern and consternation amongst those populations in our society that would be affected by these changes. There are taxpayers out there on fixed income who are having very difficult times making a way as we continue to talk about the needs that we have throughout our society. There's the possibility of intergenerational warfare as senior citizens are being pitted against kids in the fight for shrinking resources. There are people out there dressed up in Army uniforms who think that it is okay to blow up a federal building and kill innocent people. We have an educational system that, in spite of the best efforts of many well-meaning educators, we still fail far too many of our children. In spite of all of the rhetoric, we still in America do not treat our children as if they are indeed our most precious resource. So this is what you all are about to step into. This is the world that you now are going to be full-time participants in. And no longer will you be able to say, I'm just a student. Now what you're going to be is one of those leaders in a corporation, or one of those people ultimately in a business or in government or at some point in this society where you will have the opportunity to make a decision that will have a direct impact on the issues that I've raised here. So I urge you today to think about this. Think about it, because you all are entered into a century where there will be more changes than most of us can even contemplate. And I believe there has to be change. I think we have to give up old ideas and old structures that quit working 30 years ago. But at the same time, we can do this in a way that will bring our society together rather than tearing it apart. And I would just urge each one of you to understand that a committed, caring individual can make a difference in this world. So congratulations. This is your day. And what I would urge you to do after you remember some of the things that I tried to say is find a mirror, look at it and laugh. Congratulate yourself on what you've been able to accomplish, because what you have accomplished is tremendous. But what I urge you to do is to build on those accomplishments by helping us to, in fact, build a better world. Thank you very much for allowing me to share this special day with you.
To present testimonials of achievement to two of this morning's graduates, I present to you the President of the Milwaukee School of Engineering Alumni Association, Ms. Jacqueline Hurd-Barber.
Good morning, Dr. Viets, honored guests, faculty, fellow alumni. We're here today to pay tribute to, celebrate with, and welcome our newest MSOE alumni, the spring graduation class of 1995. In keeping with tradition, during this ceremony, the MSOE Alumni Association enjoys recognizing a very special student who had made time in his or her hectic schedule to serve as a leader in college and community activities, in addition to achieving academic excellence. Candidates for the Alumni Achievement Award are first nominated by their respective academic departments. Then, the entire graduation class selects from among its peers the students who is most deserving of this prestigious award. We are proud to announce not one, but two recipients today. They are Brian Lenz and Daniel Mischishin. Will the two of you please join us on stage? Brian is from Stewartville, Minnesota, and is a graduate of Stewartville High School. Brian has earned a bachelor's degree in biomedical engineering and is graduating with honors. While at MSOE, Brian was a Student Government Association representative as well as a Residence Hall Association representative. He was a member of the Biomedical Engineering Honor Society, IEEE, and active in intramural softball. Brian is a member of Tau Beta Pi, the National Engineering Honor Society, and served as president of the 1995 National Engineering Convention voting delegates. He also served as president and founding member of Alpha Eta Mu Beta, the National Biomedical Engineering Honor Society, and was voted outstanding electrical engineering student for 94-95 by Eta Kappa Nu, the National Electrical Engineering Honor Society. Brian's recent work experience includes the Medical College of Wisconsin Department of Neuroscience, where he worked as a research engineer, and the MSOE Student Life Office. In the fall, he'll be attending Case Western Reserve University Graduate School in Biomedical Engineering. Dan has earned his degree in architectural engineering with a structural specialty and is graduating with high honors. While at MSOE, Dan was active in the Architectural Engineering Society, Associated General Contractors Service Projects, American Society of Civil Engineers, and the Kentucky Derby Project for Cerebral Palsy. He is a member of Tau Beta Pi National Engineering Honor Society, the National Dean's List, and an All-American Scholar. Dan has accepted a position with the Structural Engineering Corporation located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He will be working primarily on structural testing and evaluation of structural damage throughout the Atlantic states. Brian and Dan, on behalf of the 15,300 MSOE alumni worldwide, I commend you on your past accomplishments, and I wish you continued success in future endeavors. And to all of you graduates, congratulations. You are a very special and talented group of young men and women. Many exciting opportunities await each of you. As you move across the country, we hope that you will make an effort to stay in touch with your classmates and your alma mater. In fact, we have 23 MSOE alumni chapters across the country. May you wear your new MSOE alumni lapel pin with great pride and serve as lifetime ambassadors of MSOE. Thank you.
The Fred F. Look Outstanding Student Award is MSOE's most prestigious testimonial to excellence in all areas of student endeavor. Founded in 1969 by MSOE Corporation member Irvin Aaron, the award honors the memory of the late regent, benefactor to MSOE, and chairman of the board at Allen Bradley Company. It's presented annually to one student among many who have maintained an excellent academic record while demonstrating professional bearing in a variety of extracurricular activities. This year, 186 senior students met the minimum academic requirements for the Outstanding Student Award. 186 senior students have cumulative grade point averages higher than 3.0. And don't you dare mention grade inflation to any of them. Voting among the faculty accomplishes the considerable task of narrowing that field to just 3. And the Executive Educational Council ultimately determines each year who shall be, in a very real sense, first among equals. Your program contains the names of the 3 finalists for this year's award, and each of these will today receive a presidential citation for their accomplishment. They are Laura J. Garretts from De Pere, Wisconsin, who will graduate this coming fall in architectural engineering. Laura Garretts. Denise Marie Wack from Reedsville, Wisconsin, graduating this morning with high honors in business and computer systems. Denise Wack. And now please join me in saluting the winner of the 1995 Fred F. Look Outstanding Student Award. He is from Bondwell, Wisconsin, and is graduating today with high honors in mechanical engineering technology. This young man has an impressive array of honors and awards. Among them, he is an I. Andrew Rader Presidential Scholar. He has won scholarships from Cargill, American Royal, the National Fluid Power Association, and Dana Corporation. A true son of Wisconsin, born and raised on a farm, and don't you dare say the C word. He is an alumni member and speaking judge in the National FFA organization. He was a 1991 national winner in agriculture at the National 4-H Congress and was national runner-up in 1992 in the American Royal Student Ambassador competition in Kansas City. During the last year, he was an engineering intern with the Harley-Davidson Company, and following graduation, he will be employed as a development engineer with Robert Bosch Fluid Power Corporation in Racine. Our recipient has been, throughout his career at MSUE, a giver back, and a sharer of his abilities as a peer mentor, as an admission office shadow volunteer, student government association senator, student representative to the Executive Educational Council and Faculty Evaluation Task Force, and he has been president of Tau Alpha Pi Honor Society. This year's winner of the Fred F. Look Outstanding Student Award has made MSUE and has made every constituency that he has served better by his having been here. Please help me welcome Richard Allen Sievert.
First of all, I want to thank the faculty for bestowing this honor upon me. The last 4 years have been tremendously difficult, exciting, and sometimes fun. Specifically, I want to thank Professor Tom Labus, my senior project advisor. Coming into college, I never expected to have faculty that cared so much for the students, and it really took an interest in their lives. I also want to thank all of the fellow students I've worked with, both in organizations and in class. You've made college a lot of fun, and it's been an enjoyable time. But the two people that I really need to thank are my parents. As the graduation approached, I began to think about what it took for me to get to this point, and I realized two things. First of all, the money, the scholarships, the grades, and the promise of a career meant nothing to me. It had nothing to do with getting through school at all. What was most important is that somebody believed in me, and somebody's believed in me since the beginning. And the second thing I've realized is my parents are the two smartest adults in the world. I say adults because children will always be smarter. And I say they are the smartest because they discovered the secret of life, and they realized that no matter what you do, and no matter what you go down in history for, anything you've accomplished in your professional career means nothing. They've dedicated their entire lives to taking care of their 4 sons and making sure that they're prepared for the future. And this hat's going to fall off. Through the past 30 years, my parents have dedicated every waking hour to what their kids have done and to making the world a better place for them and making sure that they're ready for it. Nothing has come before the children, and they really understand that belief is the most important thing you can honor. To my fellow graduates, we're all going to be headed into great careers, and I know that because we're coming out of a great institution. But the challenge facing you is making sure that you're a great person. And the only thing that can ensure your legacy is to make sure that you pass on the knowledge you've gained to the future generations, and that you prepare them to walk in your footsteps. Please remember that we didn't inherit this world from our parents. Well, we're borrowing it from our children. And make sure that we leave it a better place for them and that they're ready for it. Thank you.
A few years ago, we started a different award, and what we did is we looked at the source of our students, and we recognized, and I think it's reflected in our choice of an honorary degree recipient in Dr. Fuller today, that the source of our students really is the primary, middle, and secondary school system, no matter where it might be located, inside and outside of this state. The heart of that system is clearly the educators in it, that is, the teachers. So we started something called the Very Influential Person Award, VIP. In it, we asked our students that are graduating, to nominate people from their own experience. And in your program, you'll see that there are several names. What I will do is introduce those who are here with us this morning, and there are 3. I'd like to quote from the letters of nomination for those individuals. The first individual is Mr. Thomas Bauer of the North Middle School in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. He was nominated by David Powlett, and I'd like to quote from his nomination. Just a couple of lines. He, Mr. Bauer, made the class well-rounded and very applicable to real life. Through his class, he says, I became interested in the field of science, which turned into engineering as time progressed. As well, he says, I know that Mr. Bauer retired a couple of years ago. I can only hope that the school district found someone like him to take over. Pretty strong message, and I'm happy to introduce Mr. Thomas Bauer.
A year ago at this time, I retired after spending 40 years in education. I was in the Menominee Falls school system, and I'm proud to say I was a 7th grade science teacher. If we could compare my 40 years of teaching to a cake, and in the ingredients of the cake, the hundreds of kids that I had in my class, this award today, this VIP award, would truly be the frosting on my cake. It would be sort of like the Academy Awards, the Oscar for actors. I'd like to thank David Powlett for nominating me for this very special award. It's something that teachers dream about. I will never forget this as long as I live. Also, it's a pleasure to share this special day with David, one of my graduating kids from MSCE, with honors. What more can be said? Thank you.
The second VIP recipient is Mr. David Hedke, chemistry, physics, and algebra teacher at Boundell High School, and he was nominated by Richard Sievert. Chemistry, physics, and algebra. It's a pretty good start right there, right, folks? A couple of quotes from his nomination. Mr. Hedke was an excellent friend and mentor who loved to discuss what students planned for the future. In addition to teaching the standard material, Mr. Hedke always tried to show how it could be applied. There's a real theme here. Mr. Hedke still wants to know how I am doing every time I go home. And this is from a senior in college, a graduating senior, I might add. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. David Hedke.
It's an honor and a privilege to share this day with you graduates. I did have a few words of wisdom, but Dr. Fuller stole all of them, so I'll just say ditto. I'd like to especially thank Rick Seifert for nominating me for this award. Rick, and to all the rest of you graduates, congratulations and go get them.
Last but not least is Mr. Richard Schwartz of Evansville High School in Evansville, Wisconsin. He was nominated by Gregory Backham, and a couple of quotes from that nomination. Throughout my education, he has remained the best teacher I have ever had. It's pretty high praise. He helped me to focus on what I wanted to do after high school. He was, and still is, always there for me to give advice on what is going on in my life. I am continually thankful that he was there. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Richard Schwartz.
A very special thank you to the people of Milwaukee School of Engineering for making this award possible, and to a young man right down here who'd make any teacher look good, and I mean that. In 30 years in the classroom, they don't come any better than him, and he's the type of guy that want to make you come back for the future. A very, very heartfelt thank you, Greg, for making this award a reality, and good luck in Arizona.
At the conclusion of this morning's ceremony, we would ask that the audience please remain in the auditorium until the academic procession has left it. Thereafter, we will assemble, we will adjourn to the grounds of the Performing Arts Center. The weather has permitted for a change us to do that. We would ask that you use the doors on the south side of Eline Hall here, which will let you right out into the garden area, and you can proceed to the riverfront area where there'll be numerous stands of goodies waiting for you. Just a few words in closing. Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 95, you have ahead of you a future that is very bright indeed. You have everything that you need to build a good life for yourselves and for all those whom you love. You have the resources for sure to help the world. And the world, as Dr. Fuller has said so eloquently, the world will always have problems for you to help solve. Our hope and our faith for all of us at MSOE is that you will want to do that. Seek fortune, seek fame, if you will. Some of you, perhaps, probably, many of you will find them. But I hope you remember that success is a journey, not a destination. And I guess our wish as you go along is that you will enjoy the trip, that you will look for the blue sky, that you'll take time to smell the roses. Hopefully you'll laugh. You can laugh again. Exams are over and it's finally here. Laugh as often and as hard as you can. And cry when that's the only right thing to do. Don't be afraid to build castles in the air. That's where you build them, and you don't have to be an Archie to know that. Have dreams and have the will and the energy to give them foundations and make those dreams come true. Remember that America itself began as an idea, not as a colony. More important, I guess, than anything else is that you love someone who loves you back. That you have a God, that you have someone to pray to. Keep the faith at all ages. Keep the faith and believe in miracles. A Class of 95, in your long days and nights journey to commencement, you have distinguished yourselves and you have made all of us a little bit better by your having come our way. To those of us who were here before you, long before you, and who will still be here on Monday, it probably seems like just a little while since your adventure began. Very likely you see it a little bit differently. In any case, we are going to miss you. Don't just send money. Notice I said don't just send money. Come home, as Dr. Veet said. Come home to this sometimes heavenly, sometimes more often hellish, I suppose, but always hectic square there between Juneau and Kilburn and Jackson and Broadway. This is a place which you may leave, but which really will never leave you completely. Wherever you go and whatever you do, may the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and may the rains fall softly on your fields. Until we meet again, may the good Lord hold you in the hollow of his hand. Now, please rise for Rabbi Serrata's benediction.
Lord God of test tube and blueprint, who jointed molecules of dust and shook them till their name was Adam, who taught worms and stars how they could live together, teach your children now to live in peace and friendship. Let the day come when oppression, discrimination, and prejudice will be forgotten, and all the world will be filled with your spirit. Post proofs that brotherhood is not so wild a dream as those who profit by postponing it pretend. Press into the final seal a sign that peace will come for longer than posterities can see ahead, that men and women of every race, religion, and nation will be brothers and sisters, friends forever. Now, as we leave this place and head our separate ways, let us remember what it was like to be together as teachers and students, friends and colleagues. The book of Psalms says, Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Behold how good it is for people to live together in unity. Whatever our goals, our tasks in life, let this be our constant thought. May this dream and all your dreams come true. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Amen.